Hello everyone, welcome back to Placement Buddies. Today, in order to share some insights about supply chain management, we do have Vikram sir with us. Hello Vikram sir, welcome to Placement Buddies.
Hi, Saleh. How are you?
Yes, sir, I'm good. What about you?
Thank you. Thank you. Good.
Yeah, sir, please introduce yourself in front of our audience.
As Saleh referred to me, yes, I am Vikram. I do not like the Vikram sir. You can call me Vikram.
Sure.
I graduated as a pure instrumentation and control engineering. And I am one of the few who is fortunate to pursue a career in what I studied. I joined Reliance in 2007. I went through the construction phase. I was a project engineer then. It was a client-based company. Then I went a product-based company that's called Emerson Process Management in Mumbai. And then I went to an offshore EPC company, McDermott in Chennai. And currently, I'm now with L&T Onshore Hydrocarbons Engineering Limited. I'm working in supply chain management as a buyer. Yes, Saleh.
Yeah, so sir, you have covered a lot of journey, before just, finally getting into supply chain. And most of your journey was about project management or as a project engineer, I would say. So since this video is about supply chain, we will not deep dive into project management, but I'll still, request you to say the major differences between these two, like project management and supply chain management.
Okay. Now, project management is the owner of the project. If you take a life cycle of the project management team goes through the entire cycle from the proposal stage till the commissioning and handover stage.
Correct.
Whereas a supply chain management is only the procurement stage.
Right.
He's not worried about the construction. He's not so much worried about the engineering phase, even though he's indirectly with the engineering.
Yeah.
However, once the material reaches site, then it's not up to the supply chain management. But I will tell you a better example. Now, project management is someone who has got internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. The project management should have to deal equally with internal and external. But when it comes to supply chain management, 90% of a supply chain management engineer is about external stakeholder only, not much with the internal stakeholder. Once you know to deal with the external stakeholder, then internal is nothing.
Correct.
And that's the key for a supply chain management. Yes, Saleh.
Right. So, sir, as you mentioned, dealing with external and internal stakeholders, let's take an example of a project, be it a domestic project or an international project. What are the different stakeholders which are involved, especially in EPC projects in which you are working right now?
Okay. Internal stakeholders means people who are working in the organization that you are working. Say, for example, it can be the engineering team, it can be the quality team, it can be the logistics team.
Correct.
It can be the supply chain management. In supply chain management itself, we have got a proposal team, we have got an expediting team, we have got contracts. All these who are having, in a simpler words, the same business card like you, with the same ID card like you, they are all called internal stakeholders.
Right.
Or even the email ID that is ending like yours, as simple as that, are internal stakeholders. External stakeholders are customers, the EIL kind of project management consultants,
Right.
the vendors, the sub vendors. They all are called as external stakeholders. Yeah.
Correct. So, like when it comes to supply chain management, you have got a lot of, communication, as you mentioned about internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. So there is a common myth among, I see a lot of myth among the freshers and the GETs that, okay, if I'm an introvert, I cannot be a good fit in the supply chain management. Is that so? Like, is it the case, sir?
Saleh, it's not about the introvert or extrovert. It's about communication.
Correct.
It's, I always have this basic difference, an introvert should know where to speak and an extrovert should know where not to speak.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So if you are an introvert, I'm very sure that you will be very good in supply chain management because you will be very specific in asking what you need.
Right.
Right. You have a specific boundary in supply chain management, and definitely you will have to speak, especially when it comes to the price. I sometimes feel that introverts can hold more secrets than extroverts.
Yeah,
You have to have that confidential information. I'm not I myself being an extrovert, I'm not letting down the extroverts. What I mean to say is, as a supply chain management, don't worry about you are an introvert or an extrovert. You will have to speak, you will have to communicate.
True.
That is more important.
True. And when you speak specifically about supply chain as a department, what are the different divisions? Like, what are the different roles which are present in supply chain management?
Okay, in supply chain management, we have got a buying team
Hmm.
who interact with the cold or the cold sales or the hot sales, whatever, the direct sales people in the vendor or the
Right.
supplier works.
Mhm.
We send the material requisition MR as per the specification of the project prepared by the engineering team. We ask them for technical closure. Once the technical closure is given by the projects team and the quality team, we sit across the table and then tell, let's go for commercial closure.
Right.
That is very important. The art of negotiating comes there, the give and take comes there. Every time the supplier cannot give you the rates that you ask for, and
Exactly.
every time we cannot absorb the high rates the supplier is giving. This
True.
is where the art of negotiating happens. That's a team that prepares the purchase order and gives it to the project team. Now,
Mhm.
once the project team gets the purchase order, they give it to another supply chain management person who is the expediter. The
Right.
expediter is not bothered about what was discussed before the offer. The expediter is not bothered about what was the price that was followed.
Mhm.
The expediter is not bothered about the terms and conditions of the PO,
Mhm.
how it was done. He or she is like, now it's married, it's your spouse. You will
Right.
have to deal with it. That's it. The expediter then coordinates with the engineering team, projects team, quality team to get the drawings, get the material manufactured, get it inspected, and move it. Then comes the logistics team. The supply
Mhm.
chain has got a logistics team which handles the transportation. It
Correct.
may be in the supplier scope or the EPC scope or the client scope. However, the logistics team is responsibility is to get the vehicle to the supplier works and move.
Right.
ODC is there, over dimensional components or special ODC is there.
Mhm.
Trailer, what kind of a you need a trailer, you need a low bed trailer, you need a truck, you need an open truck, you need a closed truck. Can your material be stacked one above the other or cannot be stacked? What is the weight? What permits do you need? Now that the GST has come,
Hmm.
it's made the life easy. Initially, what used to happen, a material that is moved from Mumbai to Bengal or to Tamil Nadu will have two sets of different papers.
Correct.
Octroi is eligible in Tamil Nadu. Octroi is not eligible in Bengal. Now that is GST, everyone is through.
Right.
These are the three main departments in supply chain. One more is the proposal team, which help the proposal and estimation for getting the orders from the suppliers, the rough estimates of
Hmm.
how much cost can be added for us to bid to the projects.
Correct.
Yeah.
So one estimation thing comes just before the project, and as you mentioned, buyers and expeditors role is just before the PO and after the PO respectively, and the logistics for the transportation of the material once the inspection is done.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Correct.
So, sir, talking specifically about the logistics, why there is so much of hype about logistics right now in India, and why is logistics opening a lot of career opportunities for a lot of enthusiasts, especially the freshers?
Okay. 2023 September, our Prime Minister had this national logistics policy inaugurated. Now, what is this national logistics policy? For every country to prosper, every country to have a growth, we need a good transportation. We need the material as early as possible.
Right.
Do you know, around 20 years back, if I want a masala dosa from a restaurant 5 kilometers away, we used to send our unmarried uncle who has got no job. He used to go in a cycle,
Correct.
get the masala dosa and parcel and come home. Now, with the click of a mobile,
Swiggy,
from
Zomato.
wherever I am
Hmm.
and wherever you are, I can click and straight away you will get whatever you need.
Correct.
That's not only digitalization. People think it is digitalization. it is also about logistics.
True, very
The
much.
way the Amazon parcel comes to you. Do you know that only a passenger train and a super fast train, the Durantos, the Rajdhanis, and the Vande Bharats have got timetable in Indian Railways? A goods train doesn't have a timetable. The national logistics policy is working towards a timetable, and it's also working towards a single window system. Do you know what a single window system is? Say, for example, you have ordered a control valve or a transmitter or an equipment. It will come in ship from Europe to India to the
Okay.
nearest port. From there, it will come in a truck from Mumbai to Cochin or Coimbatore, where the testing will happen. After the testing happens in Coimbatore, it goes all the way to Baroni or Barmer. Now, can you see the interchange? First, the ship comes from Europe to the port of India, from the port of India to Coimbatore for testing, and from testing, it goes to the
Side.
construction site. There are 4 or 5 different lorry numbers and the entries that are made.
True.
India, with its national logistics policy, is trying to get one number for you. Just click on that number, you will know where the material is. No matter is it train or flight or even truck.
Right.
Same your Amazon parcel. Maybe from Mumbai to Delhi, it has come in flight. From Delhi to Gwalior, it went in train. And from Gwalior to your last mile connectivity, it came in a truck
True.
or in a auto. Everything will be logged in through just one system. And I'm telling you, Saleh, the national logistics policy is going to give a lot of jobs, because we are
Correct.
going to have warehouses in many places in the state, in rural and in urban. Especially cold storage is going to happen. They are going to amalgamate so many departments together. If you want to move a material from A to B, you will have to apply to transport, customs, airways. All this will come in one system.
Exactly.
There will be a software for it. There will be a maintenance for it. There will be an upgradation for it. We need data entry people. We need computers proficient people. We need people with the knowledge of technical things. National logistics policy is where India is going, and we need people there in national logistics policy. Yes,
Exactly.
Ali.
So you have covered the entire logistics thing in a very good manner, sir. And specifically, I'll ask you the role of a logistics manager in a project. Suppose we are dealing with a lot of EPC projects where, we are constructing refineries and sites at domestic as well as international locations. So sitting in an office, how does a logistics manager operate in such projects?
Okay, very good question. See, now there is a new concept of modularization that has come up.
Yeah.
What is modularization? Say, for example, we have a big structure.
Hmm.
Okay, on top of the structure, there is a vessel that is mounted, installed. Those days, what used to happen in a remote site called Baroni,
Hmm.
we used to take all the structural steel material, the vessel, the welders, they all will be stationed at Baroni, and the installation will happen inside. The fabrication will happen inside.
Hmm. Site
Okay.
fabrication.
Now, what happens at that time? What a logistics manager used to do? He used to bring the structural steel from Hazira.
Hmm.
He used to bring the woolen clothing for this heat tracing and all that from Chennai.
Okay.
The construction people will ask the welders to bring their welding material from the local shops or the local areas.
Okay.
Now, what is happening? There is a lot of labor issues, strikes, policy changes. Now, the entire construction team was having the liability and the risk at site. Now,
Correct.
what they have done is they have opened a fabrication facility in Chennai, in Hazira, and the entire vessel has been fabricated at one place along with the structural steel,
Hmm.
and the entire one piece is moved from Hazira to Baroni.
Right.
Now, easily what has happened, the construction team has pushed the risk, the
Hmm.
liability, all that to the logistics team.
Logistics.
No, the same logistics manager sitting at his desk was bringing the lorry from Hazira to Baroni. It had only structural steel.
Right.
If there is a damage that happens, if there is a slowness in the transportation, not a problem. But now you are doing entire vessel, you are shifting on the road to the site.
Correct.
Imagine the risk that carries. That's why very crucial for the national logistics policy and the logistics manager to implement all these things.
True.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, sir, moving from logistics, let's now talk about the other role of a like supply chain management employee. Let's come to expediters. So, there is a myth around expediters ki okay, sometimes they think ki okay, things will be taken care by project management and engineering more than what I need to do. So, is there any like expediting means what? Don't you feel there is a necessity to be more aware about the technical stuffs rather than just chasing the vendor and going after the vendor day in day out? So, what do you think the
Okay.
role of an expediter is basically?
I can always give an analogy of a hotel. A project guy and an expediting guy sits in a hotel,
Okay.
and they both order masala dosa. Now, a project guy is only involved in, he will go only till the waiter or to the owner and ask, where is my masala dosa?
Okay.
Okay? Because his hands are full with so many other work. But
True.
as an expediter, you should go all the way to the person in the hotel who buys the vegetable and ask, has the aloo come or not?
The raw materials, right?
Yes, the raw material. The expediter is not supposed to sit at his desk. The
Mm-hmm.
expediter should visit the vendor works, the sub vendor works, the forging facility,
Right.
and push the order all the way. That's see, then what is the difference between a project person and an expediter?
Correct.
An expediter, right? But I sometimes feel, once the expediting guy knows a little bit of technical things, the engineering people stop giving you the information.
True.
Sometimes the supply chain guys should also act a little dumb, telling that, come on, I'm not know anything.
Yeah.
Give me a specific task. It's more like I don't know how a masala dosa is cooked,
Right.
but I know that the aloo is required for masala dosa.
I'll go and chase the
Right?
aloo, right?
I will go and chase the aloo.
Mm.
Correct. That is the only thing that an expediter see. Always there is out of interest or a person who knows a lot of knowledge is respected. I will be very happy to know that how to cook the masala dosa also.
Right.
Sometimes we should act that see, I am not bothered how the masala dosa is cooked. I am bothered about the masala only.
True.
Bring it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's why an expediter is very important. Sometimes what happens is an expediter says, I will support only the vendor.
Hmm.
And the project guy is, no, you have to support the project. Now, there is always a fine balance an expediter has to do, that the vendor's interest is also to be respected. The project schedule also is to be respected.
Exactly.
If you don't have that balance, then the expediter just dances to the tune of the vendor only, and the project schedule will be affected. Or if he chooses to dance to the tune of the project schedule, vendor will never give you the material.
Very right. Very
I
right.
tell you where this problem happens. Ultimately, you are going to hand over the spares to the customer.
Correct.
The spares hold 10% of your project value, and it's huge, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
It's retention amount. If you don't support the vendor in liquidated damages or in the payment, he or she is not going to support you in sending the spares.
Exactly.
That's why a vendor relationship is also very, very important. Yes, Saleh.
Sir, as you mentioned about liquidated damages and the spare philosophy, for the audience who are not aware about these two terms, can you please explain?
Yes. Liquidated damages. Say, for example, you are supposed to deliver a material by 30th of December 2023. Now, it has been agreed that, see, what is a technical limit of, say, for example, I want a dal khichdi. You would tell me that the technical limit is I will cook the rice and dal, I will mix it and give. But for that, you have to switch off, the gas, when you keep it in the cooker, the pressure increases, there's 4-5 whistles, then you will have to wait for 5-10 minutes to cool down. Then you open the gas, the cylinder, the cooker, all that happens. You will
Yeah.
say, Vikrem, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I give an order at 8 o'clock. Say, for example, you go to a restaurant, they would be written, any order minimum would take around 15 to 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
This is the contractual term,
Contractual term.
right?
Hmm.
Yes. So we have this contractual delivery date, CDD,
CDD.
36 weeks, 36 weeks from the day of manufacturing clearance, 26 weeks from the day of manufacturing clearance. The vendor has accepted that I'll be giving you in 36 weeks. So what we do, if you don't give me in your 36 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
then from the first week onwards, 0.1 percentage of penalty will be put on you
Hmm.
until 5%. I cannot keep on putting, I'll put only till 5%.
Correct.
Now, how do you calculate the lorry date which moves out from the factory
Factory.
is the date of the material that has moved,
Hmm.
right? Say, for example, 1% I have put liquidated damages for every 1 week of delay.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, the vendor has 10 weeks of delay. You cannot put 10%.
Hmm.
Liquidated damage also has got a limit. It's
Limit
got only 5%.
5%.
Yes.
Right.
Then comes spares. Spare philosophy is always 10% of whatever you buy in every model.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for example, you have got, we will take two iPhones and two Nokias,
Yeah.
and you have four phones with you. What is 10%? Is one.
One.
Then you will give iPhone or you will give Nokia. So what they say is 10% of every model.
Hmm.
Say, for example, you have 10 iPhones and you have 10 Nokias. You have to give one Nokia and one iPhone.
One iPhone. Correct.
Yes, that's a spare philosophy. Yes, Saleh.
Exactly. So, sir, coming back to the expediting thing. So, suppose, for example, a graduate, recently a fresher who has graduated from his or her college, expects something, in the job, he or she will expect something related to his or her discipline. Now, suddenly, a person goes into supply chain management. We will touch upon the buying part as well later on. But, for example, in expediting, he or she is not seeing much of technical stuffs. For example, an instrumentation engineer, he or she might be wanting to study more about the control valves, the P and IDs and stuffs like those. But in expediting, it is about negotiating with the vendor, dealing with what we call a people management or a person management kind of role. So how to form that balance so that your technical learning is also getting enhanced as well as you learn how to manage people, especially in expediting
Okay.
roles.
See, we need to come out of this academic viewpoint of looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Remember one thing. As long as you are in the circle of profit making to the company, you are a successful engineer.
Correct.
When the material reaches site on time, you are going to invoice the amount to the customer on time, and you are going to get the money on time.
Hmm.
Right? Where is this technical things coming? Now, a very surprising fact I tell you. Everybody is told that you have to be technical. Be very good in technical. Okay?
Hmm.
But the real technical guy in engineering is never told that you need to know contracts. You need to
Right.
know what is invoice. You
Right.
need to know what is GST.
Hmm.
The real technical guy does not know how big is a control valve, does not know that the control valve cannot be stacked one above the other, but the temperature gauge can be stacked one above the other.
True.
Are you not learning something? Why are we fixed towards technical, technical, technical?
Hmm.
Technical will happen. But there is something called as serendipity. You are going in search of something and you ultimately find something else.
Yeah.
Honestly telling, that's how I learned technical things. Say, for example, in a level gauge, they told sample glass test will be conducted.
Okay.
The vendor told. And when the inspection happened, the inspector is telling sample glass test never happened. Now, I had to dig deep inside and find out that they have pressurized one part of the flange and they have opened this other side of the flange and they have passed on, and then there is the glass did not break. That's
Yeah.
called sample break glass test. Technical things will surely come to you. Definitely, when you go visit a site or when you go visit the vendor works, I brought my engineering person to the site.
Mm-hmm.
He has worked on a pressure safety valve for 10 years.
Okay.
When I asked him to spot a pressure safety valve in the site, he could not spot it. But then what do these people proudly tell? I am a technical guy. I know everything. Again, I'm telling you,
Oh.
Saleh, it's not about being only technical. In the quest for being technical, we miss the commercial aspect of a project.
True.
Any company, even I read a news report about the Microsoft.
Hmm.
There is one HR who was for 30 years in Microsoft. He says, if you want to stick to a company and not be fired by the company, make sure that you are in the circle of profit making.
True.
You should take a role that brings profit to your company.
Correct.
Yes, Saleh.
So, see, there is a lot of awareness which needs to be spread among the freshers about the fact ki, okay, suppose you have learned instrumentation or electrical in your BTech, say, but there are things beyond, just learning civil, just learning instrumentation, just learning electrical. A company is something which ultimately gets profited by increasing its finance, right? And that is where departments like contracts or say supply chain and everything comes into picture. So sometimes what do freshers expect is that, okay, I have got supply chain management. Even I have got a lot of questions on LinkedIn and WhatsApp as well. Ki, okay, I have got supply chain management. How do I cope up with this department? Because in my BTech, I have studied nothing about supply chain. And I'm sure you are aware of what these academic people do teach. They are just never, touching the industrial aspect of any subject. So, it is just like bolt from a blue. Like, how do I manage supply chain management just by going there? And, they are not aware of the on the job learning which is going to happen with them after they, join their company. So, starting days, how do they keep up? Like, how do they cope up with the term supply chain management? And how can they make themselves, acquainted to it so that they can be successful in the long run?
Got it. See, what happens, we have mentors, we have seniors who always tell us what has to be done.
Hmm.
Now, to start with, when you learn driving, the driver, the teacher would just tell that push the clutch, first gear, remove it, slight acceleration, it will move on.
Uh-huh.
Right? Now, this is a clear-cut instruction given by the trainer. You
Hmm.
cannot do anything beyond that.
Beyond that.
So GETs are also trained like that. Now, what a GET has to do is, I'm doing a specific task. Who has given the input to the specific task, and who is going to use my output as their input? One step before, one step after. When you get to know that, it's like zooming out and seeing what you're doing.
Right.
How is it helpful for the person before you, and how is it helpful for the person after you? Then you will come to know what are you doing.
Correct.
Sometimes, randomly we get, what am I doing? That kind of a question will not come. Say, for example, I'll give you a good example. Now, my vendor says, I have a Venturi meter whose calibration range is 0 to 10,000.
Okay.
Okay. I have to get it tested in a government authorized lab, which is not functioning right now because of a strike. In my vendor works, I have the capacity to measure or calibrate 0 to 6,000.
Okay.
Can I do it from 0 to 6,000, extrapolate the values till 10,000 and give it to you? It looked very good for me. But I always thought, who gave me this input? 0 to 10,000. Engineering has given me 0 to 10,000. There is a reason for that. Right? Now, who is going to use this Venturi after I dispatch?
Client.
It seems this Venturi is coming in a line which is going to carry the liquid which the customer is going to sell to his customer.
Okay.
This crucial is this Venturi is. The end product is the licenser's product, and our company is going to get money if the liquid which is going to get sell is in the good quality.
True.
Now, in that case, 0 to 6,000 and extrapolating to 10,000 will not work. Vendor was completely behind me, telling that you will have to accept this. I went to the commissioning team. I saw where it is going, why this is very important. When I explained this to the vendor, he told, okay, sir, I understand that this Venturi meter is very crucial to you and you cannot waive off this 0 to 6,000 We will have to wait until the strike ends and we will test it for 0 to 10,000.
Nice.
Whatever you do, see left, see right,
Mhm.
and then see straight. You will understand there will be a meaning of you seeing straight. If you want to keep going straight only and not bothered about what is going in the left, what is going in the right, I told you the example of a learner's driving license, right? How does one term you as a good driver? You will have to manage the left, right, front, back, everything you will have to
True.
manage.
True.
Every time you will not get an empty road. You will get a traffic road only.
Mhm.
Yes, Saleh.
Right. So, as you said, sir, like GETs and the freshers, they have to be very much open to learning, number one, and they have to, question themselves, ki, why am I doing this? Right. Sometimes being in the supply chain management, they might also feel, ki, okay, we might not be a valuable asset for a particular project because they might be handling 5 to 10 projects at a time. They might be just oriented towards a particular product or maybe towards, the money making or the financing of the company. So when it comes to a specific project, you might be handling 5 to 10 purchase orders. So you might be dealing with 5 to 10 specific vendors. So what role does a supply chain manager brings in a particular project? Like speaking from project per se.
Our main goal should be always aligned with the company's goal.
Hmm.
The company is asking you to do something.
Right.
You have to do it. Now, when you align your goal with the company's goal, it's all see the beauty of the project cycle is it always ends. When
Right.
you take up an operation and maintenance, there is no end to it. It's a routine job. You take manufacturing companies, you take operation and maintenance companies, they are pretty much the same
Hmm.
for over the years. But a project always has got a life cycle. It's got an end. It's a
Yeah.
start, it's an end, right? Definitely, you will face hardships. You will have vendors which you don't want to deal with. Say, for example, I did not want to take up orifice plates in my order at all. I was happy taking big tagged items like vortex flow meter, magnetic flow meter, analyzer, temperature transmitter, but I did not want orifice. I tell you why I don't want orifice. Orifice always has got 1,500 orifice plates.
Yeah.
Suddenly, engineering will tell 300 plates have changed
Yeah.
from 2 to 3 board.
That's painful.
I did not want to take it, but unfortunately, my colleague resigned. He was taking care of that order, and that came to me in the middle of the order. Already, I don't like orifice. At least if you have given me orifice from the beginning, I would have been happy. I am
Yeah.
taking it from the middle. So things like that happen.
Hmm.
You will be, you will have a posting in an unfavorable location. You
Hmm.
will have a posting, a person who has joined after you would get a better promotion.
True.
Maybe because the project was a very, very valuable project for the company.
Hmm.
All you will have to do is you will have to align with the goal of the company.
Correct.
That's it. Recently a person was asked, how did you spot Shreya Ghoshal to be the best singer when she was in the chorus, not when singing?
Right.
He replied, even when she was in chorus, her homework and the preparation for the chorus was as though she was going to sing alone.
Very nice.
She did not make minor errors, methodological preparations she did. That's how people are spotted. Whatever assignment you are given, when you do it perfectly, people will look at you.
Exactly.
Yes, Ali.
And as you mentioned in the middle, that there will be vendors with whom your life will be very much painful, and there will be vendors with whom you will wish to work again and again. So there are two different polarization in maintaining and handling the vendors. But at the end of the day, all the vendors and all the not only vendors, like all the stakeholders are a valuable asset for the company. How do you adapt yourself, like working with such vendors, like maybe the one with whom you don't want to work again?
Correct. See, human relationships are important.
True.
They are also working for the profit of their company.
Hmm.
So what I do is, first and foremost, I see that they get profits because of me.
Yeah.
Once they got to know that the payment is done on time and I have not changed anything, their viewpoint on me changes.
Hmm.
We will always have to build a relationship and maintain relationship. What
Correct.
happens always is we just build relationship and do not maintain the
Maintain it.
relationship,
True.
right? See, there is when I was in projects, I always used to complain that why is SCM again and again giving it to the same vendor who has been very arrogant with me, very
Hmm.
arrogant with the company.
Hmm.
But then there are no players.
Yeah.
And again, I zoomed out and I saw where our topmost, the senior most person in our company told, Vikram, in the entire field for this heating and ventilating, this is the only good vendor. You don't have others. Now,
Correct.
I have seen that vendor only as I know only one vendor, and that's him.
Hmm.
My senior most guy has seen four vendors and has selected that this is the best. Sometimes you will have to feel that he is the best amongst the worst, and you'll have to make.
Yeah. Correct. So when when we talk about the different sort of skill sets which are required to be a good expediter or to be a good buyer or for some reason a good logistics manager, there are things like vendor management, there are things like people management. We talk about negotiation, we talk about knowing what your role exactly is. Apart from all these points, what do you think a fresher or a GET who is gonna recently join the supply chain management as a completely new thing, what are the skills on which he or she should work right from the beginning?
Okay. See, there is always uh, a dilemma between yes and a no.
Hmm.
Should I say yes? Should I say no? Should I say yes? Should I say no? The anxiety is what matters.
Yeah.
Now, do not give false promises,
Hmm.
right? If it's a no, it's a no. Okay.
True.
And if possible, you always say, I'll give you an example. Now, I am in one project and my other colleague is doing another project, but we both have the same vendor.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's in the same premises as well.
Hmm.
Now, I want the vendor to do the services of the material that he has given me.
Okay.
There are sometimes some vendors give the material and they do the services of that material as well.
Hmm.
Now, the vendor has already given the material to both the projects. A big LD has been waived on him.
Hmm.
He is not cooperating for services.
Right.
Then there was a conference call between my friend, the vendor, and me. I am telling the vendor, don't worry. The door for the liquidated damages is not yet closed.
Hmm.
It's about to get closed. Before I close it, if you give me the services, I will open for you.
Right.
Okay? But what my friend told, the door is closed.
Hmm.
It's locked. That's it. Don't come to me. Whom will the vendor listen to? He will listen to me.
Obviously, you.
This is more important. As a GET, if you don't know to reply, at least have the courtesy to tell that we are in the process of judging. We are in the process of adjudicating whether this is possible or not possible.
Correct.
Sometimes what we feel ourselves hero, not giving. That's it. Closed.
Hmm.
What are the repercussions of another project? Just because of 1 lakh not given in this project, the supplier is not giving the material worth 2 crores in another project.
Oh my God.
Because the GET in this 1 lakh project had told, I am not going to give. Do what you want.
That's a big thing.
The GET should learn the communication. Again, it is when we say the art of negotiating, people always relate it to money only.
Hmm.
It is not only about money. It's about the relationship as well.
Yeah.
It's about the engineering drawings as well. It's about the inspection as well.
Yeah. It is
Right?
always
Yes.
about the give and take, in at any particular stage of the project.
Yes, Saleh. Correct.
Correct. And sir, there like I have seen a lot of times, people are just not aware of what the other departments should do and what supply chain should exactly do. So when there is any debate around the scope of work, how to handle those conflicts? Because I have seen a lot of time people are just arguing over their scope of work. Supply chain management is expecting commissioning or the PMT person to do it. The commissioning guy is expecting supply chain management to do it. How to maintain all this? How to balance out all this internal conflicts?
See, when you're driving a vehicle, right of way is always giving.
Yeah,
However, what we always do is right of way is always taking.
taking. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. When we there is a scope split and there is a scope conflict, people always tell that this is not my job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is your job. This is not my job. Okay. So why do they say this is not my job? They don't want to do it, or they don't. They're afraid that if something happens, then the liability will come on us.
True.
Okay. When somebody says I don't want to do this job, you have to ask them why you don't want to do it, or you feel that you will be blamed for doing it.
Hmm.
You tell them that no, you will not be blamed for doing this. Then there is 50% of chance that the person accepts, okay, fine, I will do this.
Correct, correct.
Okay. But sometimes what happens is we have agreed that I will not do this. And when we go to the boss and the boss says, no, no, Vikram, just do this.
Yeah.
So what I always feel is it's better to take a proven track record that, listen, all these days I have not done it.
Yeah.
My previous projects, we have not done it. We are not going to do this right now.
Hmm.
It's better to have a reference of what has to be done, what has not to be done. Yes, sir.
Exactly. Yo, sir, lastly, before wrapping it up, let me just ask you about the importance of the software SAP. We have heard a lot of time that, supply chain managers, supply chain people do care about the software SAP, and it's been a like there is a perception among GTs that okay, we do have to learn the software, otherwise we are not gonna perform well in supply chain. Is this the case? Like SAP is that important?
See what happens, there are some coaching institutes that will take about SAP and all that, but they are all going to give you very simple projects to work on it.
Okay.
Only your hands-on experience, even Primavera, for example,
Primavera,
for
yeah.
a project control person. I had a conversation with my project control person that one of my friend wants to learn Primavera outside 40,000 for 2 months. Is it worth? He said absolutely not possible, because there are a lot of YouTubers who teach you the basics of what is Primavera.
Yeah.
And once you join a company, the real baseline or the S curve, all complexity, the coaching institute is not going to teach you.
True.
Okay. Same way in an SAP also, the SAP PR code has to be one, do, whatever. So many things are there. One project life cycle or 1 or 2 times you make a mistake, you're going to learn it. Do not have that inhibition that, oh my God, I don't know it.
Yeah.
You will learn it and you will do it. As simple as writing an email or an Excel sheet also. Why when it comes to the word software, you are afraid?
Yeah.
You don't know how to greet a person. You don't know how to start a conversation with an external stakeholder.
Hmm.
You don't know what is an instrument index.
Right.
You don't know what is a thermocouple element. You have only seen it in a lab. You don't see it in a site how the thermocouple element is.
Right.
Only when it comes to SAP, people think, oh my God, let me read it. Yes, you study SAP. Do not invest a lot before a job. Just go to the YouTube and have a nice tutorial of what is SAP.
Correct.
Because after you join the company, the live scenario is going to teach you.
So, sir, before wrapping it up, what all tips you would like to give to our GETs who are watching this video right now?
Okay. A GET means Graduate Engineering Training, where the company has come in search of you.
Yeah.
And you've got a job. Please remember that there are so many people who don't have a job. You have a job, right?
Right.
What happens to the GETs is, please be aware that the internal stakeholders or the external stakeholders have got a lot of assignments and jobs other than what you are doing.
Correct.
To start with, your senior is going to assign you 1 or 2 jobs. So what will happen is, oh my goodness, I will have to finish this. I will have to finish this. You keep on calling the vendor daily. Is this done? Is this done? Is this done? Remember that the vendor is a senior who has got 200 jobs in his hands.
Exactly. Yeah.
You are just one of the job for him. For you, it is the only job. For him, you are one of the job. Learn the tricks and trades which are not in the manual. Say, for example, how long does it take to lay a cable from point A to point B in a construction site? How long does it take to set up the machine and the test bench in an inspection for calibration? You will not know all these things.
Yeah.
Your focus has to be to learn things which are not in your academic books.
True.
Right? On top of it, communication is very important. You will have to first be available on time every time.
Yeah.
Right? It is not that, do not be in the impression that you should know everything. You will not know anything.
Correct.
I'm telling you, you will not know anything. But when your senior takes you to the meeting, write down whatever it is. A small contribution also will help.
Correct.
I would say to all the GETs, to start with, write what all you learn. Write what are the activities for tomorrow. Write what all you learned. That is very important. It will definitely boost your confidence. I know that you have a laptop, you have a mobile, there's a digitalization and all that.
Yeah.
However, keep writing, keep writing, keep writing to remember what is. There is a trick here. Remembering versus understanding. Our Indian education system has made us engineers by remembering everything,
Yeah.
not by understanding. Suddenly, you come into an organization where you are expected to understand rather than remember. What the GETs are doing is they are very good in remembering things,
Correct.
but they forget to understand.
Correct.
Start understanding, that will automatically make you remember. The
Very true.
way to remembering is understanding. But when you start remembering, you will never understand.
Very true.
I can always give 10, 15 tips, okay? But the GETs have to take just one, they have to take home. And I would say, don't remember, please understand. This must be the tip.
Very nice, very nice. It was my pleasure hosting you, sir. Thank you so much for joining Placement Buddies and sharing your valuable insights. I'm sure this is going to be a very good episode and very good learning for all the GETs, who are looking forward to join supply chain and making a career out of it. I'm sure this was
Oh, a
very
wonderful interaction, Saleh. A pleasure is mine. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much again, sir.